Hello everyone, my name is Amab and for Amab 333 video assignment, I will be explaining about environmental cost management. So in this video, I will share to you 4 things regarding the topics of environmental cost management. The first one is about the general definition of environmental cost management. The second one is the categories of environmental cost management. The third one is why is it important to manage environmental cost management, and the last one is the type of environmental costs associated in this topic. So let's take a look at the first subtopics that I'm going to discuss in this video. So the first one is about their definition. So basically in the environmental cost management, there are 2 terms that we have to understand, which is the environmental accounting and also environmental cost management. So environmental accounting is a broad term of how we are classifying or giving provision about environmental related information, both externally and also internally. It focuses on the reports that are required from shareholders or other stakeholders, as well as the provision of the management information. So that is about environmental accounting. How about environmental cost accounting? So environmental cost accounting is a subset of environmental accounting that focuses on the environmental information that is required for decision making. So it focuses on things such as the cost of energy, water, and the disposal of waste and also effluent. So management costs give us an analysis of the performance of a business and are ideally prepared on a timely basis so that we get up-to-date management information. So there are several things that we have to consider in ECM, such as the cost and benefits analysis of buying from the suppliers that are more environmentally aware, or ignoring this option and accepting the impact on the public image of the company from a failure to comply with environmental regulations. So, for example, let's take a look of the consumption of towels in the gym. Some people used more than 1 towel in just 1 session in the gym. So how can we ensure that the usage or consumption of this towel in the gym is environmentally friendly? So some way of introducing more environmentally friendly policy is to give extra charges to the customer for the second towel that they requested. So from this policy, the gym will be seen as more green and enhance its public reputation. So how does this consider as being green? So first, the gym will reduce the frequency of washing its towel due to the reduced usage of gym towels. When this happens, the gym will have to use less resources and help to reduce environmental impact. So for example, the gym will reduce the usage of electricity as lesser washing frequency and use less detergent that could give harm to the environment due to its chemical ingredients. So, as there are growing concern on the climate change, the environment cost management has been stressed to provide accurate disclosure of environment preservation and conservation by the industries. So, in 2001, the United Nations Division for Sustainable Development emphasized their belief that more information on environment is needed for internal decision making. Therefore, from this body, 2 types of information is needed for internal decision making. So the first one is the physical information in the use, flows and destinies of energy, water and materials, including the wastages. And the second information is the monetary information on environment related costs, earnings and savings. So that is the general understanding of the definition of ECM, or environment cost management. So let's take a look at the second subtopic, which is the categories of environment cost management. So broadly speaking, there are 4 categories of environment cost management. The first one is the environmental prevention costs. So this is the cost associated to the activities undertaken to prevent production of waste. So the cost could include training of employees to dispose wastages in a proper way, recycling products that has been conducted by a lot of companies and organizations out there. And the third one is the certification relating to the meeting requirements of international or national standards. So currently we have EIA, Environment Impact Assessment, that has to be taken by organization to ensure that their project is environmentally friendly and does not causes negative impact to the environment and also the socio-economic development of a country. So the second category is the environmental appraisal or detection cost. So this is the cost that incurred to ensure that a firm's activities, products and processes conform to regulatory laws and voluntary standards. So the cost that is related could be inspection of products and processes, environmental audit, and also perform contamination tests. So the third category is environmental internal failure costs. So these are the costs from performing activities that have produced contaminants and waste that have not been discharged into the environment. So the cost could be could be associated with eliminating and reducing waste that comply with regulatory requirements, and cost of disposing toxic waste and recycling scraps. And the final categories that I'm going to discuss in this video is the environmental external failure costs. So these are the costs when an organization performs after discharging waste into the environment. So the cost could be cost of cleaning up the wastages or disposal, and also the adverse publicity that is associated to the organization after they have polluted the environment. So a very clear example that we could look is in Malaysia, in Sungai Kim, where there's a lot of contamination has been released to the river and affecting a lot of groups in the region, in Johor specifically. So these kind of activities have actually give rise to the cost of legal penalties, and also adverse publicity to the organization itself. So why is it managing environment costs is important? So I will provide 4 reasons why it is important nowadays. So the first one is the society has become increasingly environmentally aware of they have been increasingly aware of the environment impact that is associated with the human activities. So we are getting more aware about the carbon footprint and also recycling activities that can be conducted by organizations to make sure that we maintain a more green earth. So carbon footprint is the measures of the total greenhouse gases emissions caused directly and indirectly by a person, organization, event or product. So the second reason is because the environmental costs are becoming huge for some companies, for some sectors. So we could see, for example, in the oil and gas industries, where their environmental costs can amount more than 20% of operating costs. So because of the huge amounts, the environmental cost management is very important to ensure that this kind of industry is able to sustain their operation, at the same time maintaining the good public images that they want to showcase to the public itself. And so the third reason is the tighter regulation with penalties for non-compliance. So we can see a lot of companies has been given penalties for misconduct. For example, John Cracksford Plant Hire Limited in UK need to pay £85,000 in costs and fine of £1.2 million of its assets seized. So the reason behind this seizure is because they have been illegally buried waste and also breached its waste and pollution permits. And because of these kind of activities, a lot of officers and junior employees could find themselves facing criminal prosecution for breaching environmental regulation. And so that is the third part that we have covered, which is why it is important to, why we have to maintain and manage the environment costs. And the last part of these videos, I would like to talk about types of environmental costs. So there could be a lot of types of environmental costs, but what I would like to share in this video is, first one is the waste cost. So this cost is the cost of unused raw materials and disposal, taxes for landfills, and fines for compliance failures. So it is possible to identify how much material is wasted in production by using the mass balance approach. So after we have identified where are the wastages being produced in huge amount, so potential cost savings may be identified from this approach. So the second environmental cost that we could look into is the water cost. So nowadays we have been bugged with water scarcity since it has rise and be a global issue. So it is important to minimize the domestic consumption of water by identifying where water is being used and improvise the water usage. If we did not cater this cost immediately, so we might face maybe a bigger issues in the future. So that will wrap up the discussion about in this video. Thank you.